So hello all, this is the second video of the Selenium tutorial. So today the highlighted agenda are something like this one. We will cover that hierarchy of Selenium, and then we will cover that how to download and configure Selenium, and then we will work on the inspection. As in my previous tutorial I have informed that inspection is the most important part, means how to find an element using XPath, CSS, etc. We will discuss these all things. So that today we will discuss these all three things. In my previous video I have described the history and you can say architecture of the Selenium and the complete history, like their naming convention and these all things. So first of all, let's start with the hierarchy of the Selenium. So hierarchy is important because whenever you are working for the Selenium, so you have to create a different kind of operation and you have to perform different kind of operation and you need to create a different object. So you must know which class is extending to the other class or interface, which are the interface, which are the methods you should know. So first of all, we will start with the top level of interface of Selenium WebDriver. So basically there is a, you can say there is a search context. There is a search context at the top level. There is a search context and it have the two methods basically. The first method is a find element and second method is a find element. So the top level of interface is search context. Okay, so it's basically a interface and it have two methods like find element and find element. After that we have the Selenium WebDriver interface. Okay, so here we have a Selenium WebDriver interface and it will extend the search context. So here is a your WebDriver interface and it will extend your, you can say this one. Okay, now let's discuss much more. So the WebDriver basically have two kinds of methods. First there will be, you can say there will be some kind of method like abstract method. Okay, so abstract method means abstract method. Okay, and some they will have the nested method. Okay, so let me create this one. So it will have some nested method. So there will be there is mainly two kinds of the methods in your WebDriver interface. Nested method. So some important methods I will explain, like the in the abstract method you will have like a get. Okay, so you will have the get method to open the URL. You can have a close method also will be known as a abstract method of the WebDriver, and also quit also you will be known as a interface. And then there is one more get window handler. Get window handle, this one. Okay, so these are some kinds of the abstract method, and also we in the nested method we have the window method, or you can say navigation driver dot navigate dot to. Nested means they will have further more method inside this one. Okay, and then timeouts. So like the timeouts, if I will say so we used to write that driver dot manage dot timeout dot implicitly wait or explicitly wait or page load timeout. So they will have one more method after this one. So we are divided into two parts, like abstract method and nested method. Now there is a remote WebDriver class which will extend this class. Okay, so there will be one more class. It's known as a remote WebDriver class. Okay, so it is a kind of fully implemented class. So we can also say it as a fully implemented class. Okay, and it will extend the, basically it is a remote WebDriver class. Remote WebDriver class. Okay, and it will extend the WebDriver interface. Okay, this one. It will extend this WebDriver interface. Okay, so there is a two more you can say interface are attached to this fully implemented class. So the two methods will be, first will be like this one, second will be like this one. Okay, so there will be two kinds of interface. First you can say there will be many, but I am talking about the main interface that you will use in your actual Selenium. So that's why I'm using like a Java script executor. So it is used to execute some JavaScript like a page scrolling and much more function you will use of the JavaScript, as we know that it is an interface, so that we can create the object by reference variable. Okay, means passing the reference of the parent like this one. So as I informed in my Java tutorial, so it's an interface. So whenever you will create the object of the JavaScript executor, you must remember that the object cannot be simply created. It will be created something like this one, like a Java script. S will be small. Java script executor, and then JSC is equal to, you will create the object like this one, then Java script executor driver. Okay, so there will be no new operator or new something. So as you remember this diagram, so you must know that how to create the object, how to access the get method, and how to use the navigation. So just keep this diagram in your mind, so it will be easy to write the code in Selenium. Then there will be one more interface related to this one, remote WebDriver class. It's known as a, you can say, take the screenshot. Okay, so take the screenshot, you have to take the screenshot, take screenshot. Okay, it's also a kind of interface, so you can use this one. Now we have different kinds of the drivers, means the browser driver. They will extend this remote WebDriver class. Okay, like we have Chrome, Firefox, IE, Safari. So different kinds of the driver will be there. Okay, so this is a just a driver who will extend this one. Okay, so they will simply extend. And suppose that this is a Chrome driver, this is a Gcode driver for Firefox, and suppose this is a IE driver, IE driver. Suppose this is a Safari driver. Okay, so they will just extend your remote WebDriver class. Okay, so this is the complete hierarchy that you need to remember. So it will be easy to explain your code, and then where you are using something like a interface, where you are using in your WebDriver the interface, and then extend and then class. So this is the basic structure that I have drawn. So you must remember this structure. Okay, so all the main methods, all the things that you are gonna to use in your Selenium has been covered, like a JavaScript executor, take the screenshot, and then you can say the different kinds of the method like close, quit, get, navigate, timeout, find element, find element. So these are the basic things that we will use in our Selenium. So let's move on the downloading and installation part. So first of all, I will open my website. So a complete link to download and install is given. So in my previous tutorial, I have in Java tutorial, I have also informed that how to download and how to download the Java and how to configure the Selenium and Eclipse. So in this tutorial, I will just let you know that how to download the Selenium. Okay, because the Java and Eclipse you have already downloaded and configured in your machine. Now, so I have already informed that you can get the all the things are available on this web page as well. First of all, we will discuss about that how to download the Selenium. Okay, so just type here on the Google. In the Google, just search here the download download Selenium for Java. Simply, you will get the first URL like this one. Just navigate to this one, and you will get all kinds of the information like this is the most stable release, Okay, so you will get the previous releases. You can go to here. If you click to here, you will get all kind of the previous releases like this one. So you can extend this one, so you will get this all the files like this one. You can get all the jar files and zip files. So you can download from here, or the for the most you can say stable release. You just need to click on here. Okay, so it will be automatically downloaded on your machine. Okay, it may take some time, depends on your machine and internet system. So the jar file will be downloaded. Okay, that the jar files, as I informed you earlier, will have the all the definitions of your method. Means you just need to write the method. Means you just need to call the method. Okay, the definition of the methods are written inside the jar file. Okay, so this is the way how to download the Selenium. Let's move. Suppose that let's close this one. Like I have a project. Let me create a new project like Java project. Okay, so I will say that PI training. Okay, so I have created a a project, and in here you can also choose your location of the project. Okay, so for the timing I'm taking it as a default. If you want to change the location, you can change it from here. Also remember, here should be most updated JRE version like a JE Java SE 1.8. Okay, now all the things remain same. Now let's move on the next. Okay, this one here. You will come to here. Let me finish this one. I will explain you. Now let me create a package. So all the things we will perform will be inside the package. Like I will say that com.base. Okay, now I will import some jar files in my project. So I will say that right click and I will go to the build path. Here you will get the configure build path. Inside the configure build path, you will go to library, and here you can add the there's some problem like let me remove this one. There is some path issue. Okay, I will create a new project. Everything remain the same. New Java project, and I will say that PI training. Okay, now I will click on the next. Go to the library. You can also download the library from here as well. Go to the add external jar. So from here you can also add all the external jars. I am using some old jars. You can use the updated one like 3.14 whatever it is, and click on the finish button. Okay. So this will be created. Just did this one. Okay. So now you have the all the jar files in your project. Okay. So first of all, I will create a package, and here go to com.base package. Suppose that I have. Okay. So now I have to configure the test engine in my Eclipse. So how it will be done? So basically the URL of the test engine has been changed. So if you scroll it down, so you will get a URL of the test engine in my website like here. Okay. So this is the updated URL. Previously it was like buxt.com/eclipse, but now it has been expired. New URL is this one. So you will need to download the test engine because we will use the test engine framework as well. You can download the test engine by two ways. Just go to the help and click on the Eclipse Marketplace, and in the marketplace you will get here a list of the tools or the software available for you, and then you have to find your software like whatever you want to download, but it is not a recommended way. Suppose that you want the test engine, you have to search here like this one. Okay, but it is not recommended, but you can also download this one. I have already installed, so it is appearing, otherwise it will appear like install. Okay, the second way is this. You need to go to the help and click on the install new software. If you go to here, you need to click on the add button. Okay, so type here like a test ng and whatever the URL is here, just copy this URL and paste it over here simply. Okay, and then click on the add button. Okay, so it will appear as a text ng. You need to click this one, and then next you will appear. In my project it is already installed, it is not appearing. Next you need to do, after that there will be a kind of warning. You have to accept that warning, say yes for this warning, and then your Eclipse will restart it, and then your text ng will be configured. Okay, so these are all the basic configuration that you need to do, and later on we will learn that how to run our project with the Maven and how to configure the dependencies. Okay, so let me remove this one. Okay, so let me create a simple program. Is anybody have any question? It's okay. So suppose that I am having a simple class like a all text. Okay, now I will click on the this button. Now let me remove this one. This project I have removed. So I am going in my other project. Please make your mic off. Okay, suppose that I have a class like a test base text class. So in the text engine, I will take a board. So suppose that I have created a class in the text engine. So in the text engine, you are not required to write the main method, because the main method already written inside the your text annotation. So always remember, whenever uh, you are going with the text engine. Suppose that I am creating a method like public void g and this one. Okay, so more detailed text ng we will learn later on. I'm just starting, so I'm just giving a brief introduction of the text ng. So you need to hover over it. You will get an option like import text ng, and you will also get some files like to add the text ng libraries. So I have already added the text ng libraries. So first of all, you have to add the text ng libraries. Always remember, you do not need to add the JUnit. Okay, so you have to use the text new generation means text ng, and again whenever you will hover over it, you will get an option like the package will be org.textng.annotation. So always remember, you have to import this one. Okay, and you have to you can say that you can write any code over here. Okay, so like this one. So in the text ng you can very easily run your program. You do not need to write your main method or anything else. You will just simply write and your brief detail will appear here. Okay, and if you go to your project and click on the refresh button, so you will also see a kind of report will be generated. Okay, so just go to here and click on the refresh button on the project. So you will set a text output folder will appear, and here will be emailable report.html. If you right click over it, and if you open it with a there will be option like open with a web browser, you can see your report more meaningful goal that you have to run and how much time it have taken, then this all thing. This is the beauty of the text engine. We will work on these all things. Always remember, if you have not written that at the red text, then you cannot run your program using the text engine. For example, that instead of text I am writing before text annotation, so I am not able to run my program. So I need at least one at the red text annotation to run my program. Okay, so I'll do this one. It is a buffer shape, you can say. So you will get some error. Okay, this one. So at least one text annotation you require to run your program. Okay, so let's move on the instruction part. Okay, this is the most of the important part. So suppose that I have a web driver, and I will create an instance of my web driver at this one. So I have imported the jar files of the Selenium. So I will get this option like import web driver. openqa.selenium. Always remember the package will be openqa.selenium. It will be asked in your interview as well. So if I will write driver dot find element, okay, and I will say by dot. So always remember what kind of locators you will get. The locators you will get the class name, CSS selector, ID, link text, name, parcel link text, tag name, XPath. We will count. This will become near about to 7 to 8 locators. Okay. Now always remember, if you are finding anywhere the ID, then the best use the ID, because ID of each element in the DOM will be unique. Okay. And other thing we can also use. Second thing, you must work on the, you can say, XPath much more. We will discuss XPath and we will discuss the CSS name. So much more we will use the ID. For example, if I will open my current project and it will be this one. So I have preferred here the, like, the login page. If I will open, so not this one, this one. Okay, you can see that most of the cases I have used the ID. If ID is available, use your ID. Okay, let me close this one. Okay, now let's work on the, uh, let me remove this one. Now let's work on the XPath. What are the XPath and how to? First, I will tell you the simple way. Then I will work much more on the XPath. It may take one more session to detail you about the access of the XPath. So XPath, you can. There is a two kinds of the XPath. First is a relative XPath, and second is a absolute XPath. Okay. So what do you mean by this one? So suppose that I'm taking example. Suppose that there is a person. Okay, there is a person and who is familiar to some address, who is familiar to some address, okay, and he want to go at that address, but he know all the way, okay, and there is a second person who is not familiar to the address, okay, so you have given a note to him to just reach to that address and follow these all maps, okay, so this person will take more time to reach at this location. Why? Because he will follow the complete map and he will follow the exact way, step by step. He will ask to someone, he will go to this one. So this will take some time. But the second person who is very familiar to this address, he will take very less time because he know all the shortcuts and he will directly reach to your home. So the person who know, who is familiar to your location is a relative XPath. Who is not related to your location, it's the absolute. Okay, so that's the reason relative is a little bit fast. Okay, and you can say the absolute is little bit slow. What is the format? So format for the relative will be double slash. Then you have to write the tag name, and then you have to write at the rate attribute name is equal to attribute value. So this is a simple format. Okay, I will tell you by an example, and then in the absolute text path, it will start from very basic DOM, like a single slash, then HTML, then you have any div, then you have any something like input tag, then you will have something. So it will follow the complete document object model. Both are useful by their own way. That's why both are exist. Okay. Always remember both are useful. You can never say that I am using this one, I am not using. It depends on the situation. Sometimes you need to you have to use the absolute XPath and sometimes you have to use only the relative XPath. So let's work on the little bit on this whole thing. So first of all, suppose that I have designed a practice page here. You can practice for your Selenium all the thing. So let me open this page. Suppose that this is a page and there is some input box. I want to enter some value over here. So I will inspect this one. Okay. So if I will inspect this one, so look. So the tag name, if you'll read my document object model, this one. So tag name is the input. Okay. So my XPath will become like this one. My path will become like tag name is equal to input. Then I will move on the attribute name. So attribute will be, suppose that I am taking the attribute as a name. Okay, so I am saying that name is equal to, and I will write here like the first name. Okay, there will be first name. At the rate name is equal to first name. So this will become my XPath of for this location. Okay, so let's move here and let's type here. Okay, so there will be something like let's copy this one, and there will be some syntax error. Okay, the braces error is here, like that. The braces will be not this one, braces will be like this one. Square bracket will be there. Okay, so let me put the square bracket like this one. Okay, so if you return the enter, you will get one element. Okay, which is here. You can also get it will be highlighted. Now, for suppose that I want to make the XPath for this location. So let me move and let me check that what attribute it have. It have the name, it have the value. This time I will take the value. So I will take as a value as this one, and I will value is a submit. Okay, so you have to find the uniqueness, and one element is having form. It is submit. It is coming over here. Okay, for example, this way you can also create. So this is the one way that you can create your XPath simply. And also I will tell you the another way. So there is also the tools are available. You can say add-ons are available for the Firefox and Chrome. So you can get also these all things. So here you will get in your Chrome browser apps. Go to here, and in the bottom line you will get the web store. You click on it, and there is a popular tool known as a one is a CrowPath. Okay, so you will click on this CrowPath. Okay, so this option will appear. So it is already I have added. Otherwise you will get it to add the Chrome or Firefox. You will get here. Just click on this one. This will be added on your browser. Second is a you can say second is a ESKRY spray. Okay, so you will get this one as well. Okay, so just add also this one. So what is the benefit of using these all things? Suppose that you are on my website, like so you do not need to write the XPath. You will directly they will give you the XPath for you. So let me give on the practice page. For example, I'm expecting this one. Go to here. So when you will add the spray, the option will appear here. Okay. So this will be used for the inspection. Just click on this one and go to here and click on this one. So if you check it properly, so he has already generated the uh, your XPath, and for CSS you have to select this one. Then you can click on this one and go to here. It will give you the CSS selector like this one. You will get all the XPath CSS path by using your this one. Now for example you are using the crow path, then you have to go here the crow path. So crow path is a more popular. He will give you each and everything like your relative path. Let me copy this one. Let me remove these all things. So relative path is here. Okay, he will also give you the CSS selector. CSS selector we will discuss much more. Okay, this one, and he will also give you the absolute text path. So just try to identify what are these all things. So let me paste this one. Okay, so if we will compare with the relative path and absolute path, so you can say the relative is something like this one. It have directly gone to the input, then he have find the unique attribute, and he have just created a XPath, relative path. But if you read about the absolute XPath, so he is starting from the HTML, then he is moving to the body, div. He is traversing to the complete path, and finally he is reaching to the this one. Okay, so you must be thinking that why it is important. Okay, for example, that in some scenario, I want to if I will remove this one, okay, so what will happen? You can say the 10 elements I can find. Okay, 10 input elements I can find. So in this way, if you want to deal with the multiple elements or something a particular element, so we also use the relative XPath and absolute XPath. Okay, so this is the basic introduction of the relative and absolute XPath. And also for the CSS path, it is a very easy. Always remember, for the class name, we will use the dot. For the ID, we will use the hash. For example, let me go to the some other website like Google WordPress login. So here they have designed a very proper manner. That's why I'm taking this URL. Some problem to login. It's okay. Let's move on some other. I'm trying to show you that how to create the XPath very easily. Okay, suppose that you have this one WordPress. If you right click on this one and you will go to the effect, so you will get a very defined manner like this one. You will get input tag properly. You will get the username ID. You will get the class. You will all the things are available. You can easily inspect. For example, that I want to inspect using the class name and by using the CSS path. So for the class, I will use chimney dot and I will put my class name. Okay, there will be two elements have been fine. Okay, so this is the way. Suppose that I want to use the ID for the CSS path. So I will copy this ID. I will use the hash operator. I will put the ID. This one. You can see the one element has been found. So this way we can also create the ID and XPath, and then suppose that I want to use this class name. So these are the different practices that you need to do, and then you will be get expert in your you can say in your inspection. So these are the different ways that you can find. Suppose that for this element, suppose that there is no unique attribute, like you don't have the name, you don't have the ID, you don't have the class, then how it will be done? So try to find out its parent element. Its parent, these are the sibling input and label, and the parent of these are elements are this one, this P, and now this P class have a class name which is a unique. So you just need to write the class name, then greater than sign, and then where you want to go, like a label or something. Okay, so this is the general way, and more detailed way I have already explained in my website, and like that how to work on the different XPath. We will in the next tutorial discuss only about the XPath, like how to create the advanced XPath, dynamic XPath, and we will discuss. I have just given you different architecture, that how to create the XPath, tag name, attribute name, multiple attribute you can also use, and also you can use the content method, like if suppose that you want to use some contains method. Most of the time you need to sometimes the start with method, and for the CSS, for the you can also use the class name dot for ID has. So these all things basically you will use. So it's all about the today that we have discussed about the basic introduction of the CSS and XPath. In tomorrow we will discuss about the more elaborated way of the XPath, and you can say the access of the XPath. So it's enough for today. If anybody have any doubt or concern, feel free to ask me.